I want to talk about being overwhelmed by callings in the LDS church. I have come across multiple posts on faithful social media recently where people are basically begging for advice from other faithful members on what to do in their calling and in their situation. I'll give you a couple examples. Someone was called as a seminary teacher, a state calling, and they were told they'd be released from their other calling. Hasn't happened. They're pulling double duty and they're absolutely overwhelmed. Advice to this person was, keep talking to your bishop, keep asking to be released, keep explaining the situation. Or others said to this person, I did double duty for years. So another example, a woman overwhelmed in nursery. She's been in for a really long time. Interestingly, she said that they were receiving assistance from the church and that the bishop had alluded to, well, you're receiving assistance, so you better just stay in that calling. This reminds me of my situation, what happened to me. Actually, the reason that I was finally able to kind of cut ties and step away from the church. I've talked before about how I was a primary pianist, and for a while I had a partner. That meant that I only had to play the piano every other Sunday. On the Sundays I didn't have to play, I started to discover things like brunch, sitting outside of my backyard and reading a book and drinking tea. It was amazing. Those every other Sunday experiences became extremely important to me. And I thought, okay, this allows me to continue going to church and then I just won't go, every other Sunday. Well, they got rid of the partner for me and I was back to playing the piano every single Sunday. At that point, I couldn't do it. I found myself in a scenario where those Sundays where I was able to go to brunch or sit in my yard reading a book, basically do what I wanted to do to detox from the work week, that was really important to me. And I got brave enough, and I do mean brave enough, to text the leadership and say, you know what? I'm not going to come back at all. I had asked, for months, like these people on faithful social media, can you find me another partner? Can we do this? And we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Finally, I just said, you know what? That's it. I can't do it anymore. Interestingly, about an hour after I sent that text saying I wasn't coming back, they said, oh, we found somebody for you. But I'd already done it. The genie was out of that bottle. And that allowed me finally to step away. And I think it's because something else became more important to me. It just reached a tipping point. So I don't know, let me know your experiences with overwhelming callings, and did that make a difference in how long you stayed or how and the circumstances in which you stepped away?